Hello and welcome to the I'll Try podcast. So this week...
We're the I'll Try podcast.
It's because I looked at you as I did it. I was like, why am I
Even weirder. I was going to let him get away with it. Yes, why did you say the name wrong?
Welcome. Okay, let me have a go, guys. Come on, I haven't done this in a while. Welcome to the I'll Try That podcast. This week we're heading to the sun and the sea with Mexico and Sol. But first, the hot topic with Le Barbs.
Le Barbs. Zut alors. I like that. So, a hot topic, it's not news, I'll be honest. It was more of a discussion point. This is going to be... Thank you for laughing. This is going to just be some qualitative chat. I was in the pub the other night, right? And long story short, I want to know who your favourite beer celebrity is. This came about...
Beer celebrity?
Beer celebrity.
Explain.
At the risk of sounding a little bit like a hack, this sounded like a great hot topic when I was in the pub after work the other night. We started talking about, the old hypothetical about who your favourite, who your dream dinner guests would be. We were going through a few, and my mate Chris says, I think I've got to have Big Dave. And the rest of us were like, who? Dave who? Who's Dave? And it was like, Dave Attenborough. I went, oh yeah, cool, nice, like that. You know, you can't not love David Attenborough.
He's a national treasure. Who wouldn't want him turning up for your dinner party?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then someone else said,
obviously early enough because he's quite old, so you need to get bedtime.
we need
Very
to get.
Obviously,
let's make sure we get this episode. Let's make sure we get this episode out soon because what is he 90? Anyway.
94, but who's counting?
Exactly. Well, you apparently. But then someone else said, "Hey, could you do your dream dinner party? Say you get 4. Could you do it with just Daves? So you have Dave Attenborough, David Mitchell. Yeah, I can think of Michelangelo's David. But then someone,
that would be a good.
That'd be good. Yeah."
David, can you put some clothes on, please?
It doesn't say much. He's rather statuesque. Anyway, someone else went, and like Dave Grohl. And I went, Foggy. It was my mate Adam. I was like, Foggy, do you mean Dave Grohl? He's like, what did I say? I was like, Dave Grohl. And I was like, he's my new favourite beer celebrity. And then we went around. I was like, can you think of other people who are cool named beers? And so I now can't think of any more, but I want you guys to hit me with them, and we can open this up to the listeners as well. We had Will Carling, the ex-England rugby player, Paddy McGuinness.
Yes, I like that. That's good.
Simo, I thought I saw your hand go up then.
No, it was changing the name though. Is that right?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, I'll allow puns in this. Yeah. We can have puns.
Brittany Beers.
Brittany Beers.
Yeah, Brittany Beers is good. Very topical right now with all the Netflix documentaries.
We actually also particularly went down a football route at one point. So there might be an episode either side of this. There's a guy who used to be fair play, Chris.
Human Sol.
Yeah, yes. Bam! You were all over it.
Well, Sol Campbell.
Sol Campbell.
Yeah!
Well, so Chris, who wanted to have Dave Attenborough at his party, I hope he's listening, so he gets a little bit of a shout out here. He pointed out there was a goalkeeper for Crystal Palace whose name was Julian Speroni.
That's a great name,
Julian
Speroni. To get that shoehorned really in there. I've got a couple for you.
Go on.
Natalie Portman.
Nice.
Yeah. Everyone's favourite actor, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Okay, nice. Yeah, decent. I can't think of any more. I thought we had hundreds of these.
Porter Dinklage.
My friend Charlotte was there. She said David Tennant's.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a really good one, actually.
Fair play. Yeah, that was nailing too. That was also your potential David dinner guest and a beer celebrity. He can be an answer to both of these queries. There's got to be someone called San Miguel, I'm sure. Same Michael.
Well, I think everyone can know their favourite person who does, kind of like drama, artsy, romantic films. That Ryan Gosling person.
Also, you've got Arnold's Fortune Lager.
Yes.
Oh wow. You know,
Richard Beer.
I've just always liked the musician Beck.
And then the when she drops that name, it's the musician formerly known as Beck.
Oh, God's sake.
Okay, well, I'll leave you with this one, just hanging in the air. Steve Buscemi.
Nice. Oh, that is good. That is.
Now, this Pils Brosnan.
Yeah, that's good. Phil Brosnan.
Oh, there's actually a footballer, isn't there? A goalkeeper. Ben Foster as well.
Ben Foster's.
Oh, of course, Ben Foster. Okay, so this week we're going to be talking about Sol.
Spanish, which of course is Spanish for sun. I was going to do a reference to Beverly Hills Cop 2, which, as you all know, Carlos is Spanish for Charles. I really hope there's going to be someone who gets that reference.
I hope someone gets that reference because it went over my head. If I'm quite honest,
I wouldn't expect it.
So as you said, Sol is apparently legend has it that the master brewer bottled the first batch of the experimental new recipe, and it was illuminated by a ray of sunlight, and he decided to name it El Sol. It was the early 1900s, so let's face it, there weren't many beers being marketed out there, and people hadn't really got a bit overloaded. Yeah, exactly. Just too much. I need to have a stop. I need a break from this right now. That kind of scenario. So I guess that phrase, that scenario, if that is the legend, this is definitely a time in the 1900s where people hadn't been bombarded with marketing.
Yeah, he was sat there waiting for someone to invent Instagram. This is terrible. I've got to wait another 111 years.
They actually moved quite early in their kind of inception to a place called Orizaba, which is southeast of Mexico City, geography fans, so there you go. And
because I definitely think of Sol as being a Mexican beer, through and through a Mexican beer. Yeah. Is that how you guys perceive it as well?
Big time.
So I think it's the idea that they're near the sun and the sea, and it's kind of that kind of vibe I get with the Sol, and that's kind of what if you go to their website, it's kind of what they push. It's like they're always literally like the sun is everything around it, and if you even look on the bottles. You've got that kind of, I don't know what you call it, because it is the face sun, I guess.
I love it. Yeah, he's just having a little peek over the clouds, isn't he?
Yeah, just have it coming out.
Hello.
See? But yeah, the graphic on the label behind the Sol name is this sun that has a face on it. It's a personified sun, and it's got the sun streaks all behind. So it's very light, and that obviously is it's a very clear bottle. All the labels themselves are clear. All you can see is the product behind it. Which is this light lager.
I swear also, I mean, I might be wrong. I probably would have to do a comparison, but it looks like a really nice golden colour. Do you know what I mean? It is. The beer looks sun-soaked, doesn't it? Sun-kissed even.
And especially if you've got a little bit of light behind the bottle, it really pops. I don't know if you guys have got a light source near that you can just put it behind, but it really looks like it's emanating and accentuating those light beams when there's sun coming through.
It's like a sunrise.
Indeed. You guys have bought into the marketing, haven't you?
And do you know why I think the marketing is so good? Guess who owns Sol?
AB InBev.
Close.
Heineken.
He's right over there in Australia. Yeah, Heineken owns Sol, the Sol brand.
Brewed with solar energy.
I actually know a lot about that. I've researched it because I loved the idea that it says it on the back.
What an excellent accidental segue.
So here we go, people. Here we go. So basically, all Sol that is brewed now, the Ziota Woede brewery in the Netherlands.
That's easy for you to say.
Thank you. Basically, every Sol that is produced from there is produced using renewable energy from solar power, and it actually exports from there to 50 countries. So more than 9,750 solar panels were installed on the brewery roof, and it's Heineken's largest rooftop solar installation globally. And it basically reduces emissions and it makes the brewing of Sol more sustainable.
Like that. Why the hell we don't do more? Don't normally have much of an opinion on this, but why we don't do more solar? Why anyone builds a building on Earth anymore without a solar panel on it is just sorry. I'm a little
Or
bit grumpy.
thinking, especially if this is a building that does like manufacture something, if they're not thinking about every single excess and waste, how they reuse that and recycle it or do something with it.
And like the thing is, obviously, this is stemmed from Sol being linked with the sun, which is all cool and clever, and I love that. And it's
I never made that connection.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah. That's good.
So obviously, it makes complete sense. It's like, oh, we are the sun. We are the sun beer. We link ourselves with sun. But it's like everyone should be doing it. But it's really cool the fact that it is linked to Sol with this kind of sun aesthetics.
Fun fact for you here about Sol, really leaning into this sun category, that where it was, when it was created in 1899 in this, you pronounce the word Arizaba, just outside Mexico City, Simo, that apparently that is the closest city to the highest point in Mexico. And they still claim to this day that the water source is the highest point in Mexico to the sun. Is where they get this water from. Kissed by the sun, or the taste of the sun, let's say, because that actually is their campaign. Taste the sun is all about Sol.
And it also, I mean, it screams to me that when like hot day, like really hot, and because it's that nice, from it's what I'd call easy drinking, uncomplicated, kind of refreshing, golden sort of tint in the bottom, the condensation down the side. It's that kind of your day at the beach. Someone rocks up with a box full of ice and a few of these in. It's that kind of easy drinking thing, isn't it?
I've just posted to you guys the name of the brewery before it was purchased. The brewery that was purchased by Heineken in 2004, but only became globally known in 2010. Can anyone pronounce the name of this brewery?
I'm going to go for it. I'm going for it.
Is that what happened? I thought you just accidentally leant on your keyboard.
No, I realised that during this web chat we can actually send each other messages.
Check that out.
Oh, this is very high tech. I'm not sure if I like this. All right, I'm ready.
So in theory, but unless we comment on it, it should be seamless for the listeners.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, listeners, this is completely natural. We are some Anyway, right, I'm going to say it. Stop talking out.
Oh, for the listeners, right, we've just learned we can send each other messages while we do this.
We are 5 years old.
We have done some next level poo bum willy wee jokes. Let's grow up and let's hear Simo's. And also, we've gone a little bit quiet now, so we get a bit of build up. So Simo, ladies and gentlemen, Simo is about to say the name of the brewery. We've all been waiting for this. Simo, when you're ready.
Kuweratimok Moctezuma.
Wasn't worth the build-up. Sorry.
Yeah, it was a very anglicised
I figured Joe was going to sweep in and tell us with how it's meant to be.
Yeah,
I wish I knew. I think you guys nailed it.
Oh, so that whole build-up of me. Okay, cool, sweet. Let's move on. How many countries, boys, do you think it's sent to?
Now, I think I've always known about Sol. Like, it's always been around since we've been, alive. So I think it's probably penetrated quite a few markets. So I think we're probably talking at least 50.
Unfortunately, Drabs is not with us for this one. I'm going to channel him and say that it's more than 3. No,
so
I'm going to go more than
interestingly,
130. Bam.
So interestingly, I've got 2 differing results. I went to the Sol website itself, and they gave me a different result that the Heineken said, which I found quite interesting. So the Sol website says 70, Heineken says 85. So it is widespread.
More than 3 though, Drabbers, you nailed it.
So talking about the beer itself then, and would you consider this to be a pale lager, a pilsner, or a lager?
I'd say a lager. I'm using my own terminology. I'd say a light lager. Actually, I'm saying that, and the one thing I don't know, and I'm always interested in, is what I'm very interested in, is what the percentage is. Mine's 4.2. Simo, you're in Australia, so you're going to disagree with me. Yours is going to be different.
I've got 4.5.
Oh, 4.5.
I've got more alcohol here, as always.
Why are all the Australian beers higher ABV?
So basically, Joe, it's due to the
we Brits can't be trusted.
In the UK,
export.
No, it's due to the issue in the UK that a law came out that they lowered the alcoholic content due to what's the word?
That's Swedish. Hugolugen.
I actually prefer hooliganism, so let's keep that one.
So I didn't know this. Talking back about the lager itself. So did you guys know this factoid that lagers are bottom fermenting beers, which means the yeast used to ferment the beer sits at the bottom, unlike ales where the yeast sits at the top?
I didn't know that.
What do you think of the taste of Sol?
I think, as you'd expect from a beer named after the sun, it's incredibly light. 4.2% here in the UK is a very sessionable drink. With its low out. For me personally, I have put lemon in it to add to that extra kind of citrusy flavour. You already get a very light palate with this light lager. And of course, it is a lager, but I'd say it's a light lager at that. I mean, the colour itself is so transparent. There isn't a haziness to it. There isn't a, kind of an amberiness to it. This is quite golden. Almost.
I kind of want to address what for me is the elephant in the room. This is basically...
No, the agave plant in the room.
Couldn't think of a Mexican animal, could you? Every week we're going to go with
Iguana.
I'll let you guys figure this one out. Address the iguana. The idea, though, is also that it's quite big, I think. Anyway, I'm going to put it out there. Corona rival, isn't it? For my money. Yeah. I'm a little bit like if they got
in the vibe, the style of it.
And for me, the taste as well. For me, the taste and the purpose that it serves. And to my knowledge, it beats it on price. It's just the one that it doesn't seem to have taken off in, as I think I said when we did the Corona episode, it was I always associated with Corona in nightclubs for some reason. I feel like maybe if Sol got their distribution right and a little bit of marketing, they could definitely sort of rival them,
The way I kind of see this beer is it's almost refreshingly like water. It feels that kind of vibe to it, that it's it feels like you're hydrating yourself when you drink it. And I think that's quite a nice feeling.
For a beer, it's pretty unique.
Yeah, as in here where it's super hot, it is something that I genuinely would have on the deck because I got one of those because I'm cool.
Big time.
It would be really refreshing, really lovely. And it's something that, you put a wedge of, I think this one's lemon. Is that right? Not lime?
Yep.
And...
Yep.
You're enjoying yourself, you're relaxing, and it kind of creates that kind of light, kind of almost like vibing. I don't know how to say it. That sounds really stupid.
Yeah, when the sun's beating down on you, you're drinking a beer that emanates the sun and it's all of it's trying to do. Yeah, it feels like it just matches, doesn't it?
For the record, I'd put that down. Say it's got to have it colder than cold, than cold. But I think what you're saying about that's what you've explained it a little better than me. That's what I meant by the easy drinking thing.
I'm glad you just mentioned about cold there, Barbara, because actually what I've just learned is, so obviously Mexico as a country, this is where Sol comes from. And one of the biggest advances, I guess, or the greatest advances of industrialization in Mexico were these two things. Now, one of which you've just hit on was refrigeration. So the fact that beer brewing and beers would be able to keep cold when they're moved around. What do you think the second biggest, greatest achievement of Mexico as an industrial power was? Refrigeration, and what was the second one?
Freezers.
I kind of feel like freezers could fit into refrigeration in that.
No, because refrigeration is cold but not freezing, people.
Do you want to chuck in air conditioning as well there, Samo?
Ice.
Doing things colder.
Ice, baby.
Doing things colder. That's brilliant.
So think about the brewing industry. What do they need? We've talked about they need to be cold when they're with their beers. What else do you need to do with beer to get it to the people?
Shipping. Trucks.
What's better than trucks? What's more efficient than trucks?
Helicopters.
Drones.
We're talking about the industrialization of a country. We're talking back in the 1900s.
E-scooters.
We're not talking drones.
It's e-scooters, isn't it?
E-scooters.
Trains.
The construction of roads. Railways. So I think the fact that Sol can claim, or at least that it can be linked to the popularity of Sol because of how old they are. It's to do with industrialization of Mexico, to do with refrigeration and construction of railways. I think just obviously just stands the test. It shows that Sol does stand the test of time. It's an old beer but it's also it's always palatable.
I'm sorry, I'm looking again at the label. You know, the sun, I think they need to make it look more like the sun is smiling a little bit more. At the moment, he's like dead-eyed staring at you. And because he's just peeking up from over the clouds, it makes him look proper weird. It's a very serious look from the sun. It's a bit like, drink the beer, or I'll punch you really hard in the mouth.
But thanks, Paul.
Enjoy it, though.
Do you really like the simplicity of the bottle?
So jumping around a little bit, we talked about how it's owned by Heineken. How much do you think Heineken paid for its purchase of Cerveceria Culturmok Moctezuma for the brewery?
Do you want it in pounds or pesos?
I want it in dollars, please.
What year? What year,
US
Joe?
dollars.
What year?
I think we said it was 2004 they paid for it.
I really don't know how much breweries cost, so I'm going to say 112 million.
Okay.
It's not going to be that much.
I'm gonna say 87 million.
87 million. They paid $7.6 billion for Sol back in 2004.
We are so bad at
We're not very good at the numbers.
God, how
are
many
we?
episodes
That just
are we
shows,
in?
like-
We're over 62 episodes.
Oh my God. But that is a crazy number. Like we've talked about breweries being purchased for
Just for
30
Sol,
million.
as in not
Just
anything
Sol,
else.
just the
Sol.
Sol, the whole brewery that makes Sol and the Sol brand in Mexico. They bought that for
That's insanity.
It must be consumed domestically like wildfire.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, but it just shows the power and the value of what the Sol brand had become by that point as well, and it's probably worth more now. You know, I mean, Sol that I know of, you can get more readily available. You can only buy them in very big bottles, standalone, or you can buy them in multi packs of bottles as well. I don't think I've ever seen like a 330 ml or 33 centiliter bottle by itself on a stand, unless you go to like an off license which breaks out multi-packs and sells them off individually.
No, they don't. Stop stitching up the corner shop.
Because Australia is so different in the way you purchase alcohol, like you literally go to a bottle shop and what they do is they have all the multi-packs and then right next to them they have all the singles.
But what single do you have there? I don't think it's the 33 milliliter, is it?
Well, you know, I love a bargain, right? And I just thought, why would I buy $4 for $3.30 and it was $6 for a $6.50? I know what I'm doing, people. I know what I'm doing. All right.
So you've got a 650 milliliter bottle right now.
Teased that information out of him, didn't you?
But what I find really interesting is I couldn't find Corona anywhere. And I literally was like, oh, I swear Corona's bigger than Sol. But but I might be completely wrong there. But I just feel like
that's what I'd have thunk. But then I didn't appreciate that the Sol Brewery was worth billions.
But the problem is Corona's probably taken a hit. Let's be honest. Recently,
lot of bad press. Corona.
It hasn't got great press. Also, could you imagine being named after a virus?
I mean, in fairness, they didn't name it after the virus. They
No,
didn't go.
yeah, but as in like, imagine as in like you have this amazing company, and then somebody goes, "We're going to name a virus after you," and you're like, "No, you're not."
Guys, you like my new beer?
Don't do that.
COVID-19.
It's like calling a beer like tuberculosis, isn't it?
So Instagram, they have Sol_beer has 5,000 followers. Now, Twitter, they've done the classic, they've broken up by country, so I'm just going to give you the UK and the US. So the UK, Sol Beer, at Sol Beer is 2,000 people.
Yeah, okay.
And Sol Beer US is 254 followers.
It was, though, again, sorry to hark back to an old episode, we found this about Corona. Like, the whole world would know about Corona. They probably don't have that many actual followers. And then I can't remember we did someone quite crafty in the next episode, and we were like, they have got way more followers than Corona and that sort of thing, because it's not so much of a lifestyle thing, is it? Drinking Sol or
It's
Corona.
not a lifestyle thing, but also as well, it's not about you're a challenger. If you're a smaller brewery starting up, where do you go to be a challenger to get people to notice you? Well, you go to social media.
Yeah.
If you're an established brand that's in so many different countries, and you can spend the money on out of home, like billboards, posters, those kind of like subway or tube line.
They probably got the Twitter account just so that people can't nick the name.
That's it. That's
guys.
exactly what it is.
Speaking about that, everyone should go onto Instagram and follow us, and I'll try that podcast. So,
Done.
as in, I would say, do you know what? If it's on a hot day, grab a Sol, grab a lemon, smash that lemon in there and have a good time.
And I think even if it is not a hot day, and you're sat at home in the wintry windows of the UK when it's raining and whatever, a Sol might brighten your day up for you.
Oh, Joe, that's absolutely spiffing. I love that.
I'm hitting stop on that one.
Stop.
And that's all we have time for this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe, Rich,
Barber,
and Simo,
goodbye. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter,
I'll try that podcast.com.
and watch us on YouTube.
goodbye now.